morning. Hi, Jack.
Good morning, Ray.
We'll get started in just a minute. Hi, I'm Ed Tate. For the next 45 minutes or so, we'll be working together through an exercise routine that's been designed specifically with you in mind. Now, with consistent practice, you can expect to see a number of benefits: increased strength and stamina, improved flexibility, as well as better posture and breathing control. I'd like you to work at your own pace and to feel free to rest whenever necessary. While it's desirable to train hard, you should feel comfortable at all times. Now make sure that you move into all the stretches and exercises gently, avoiding any sudden or jerky movements. One more important note: any fitness program, including this one, can possibly lead to injury or aggravate an existing condition. So it's vital that you consult your doctor before pursuing it. As far as equipment's concerned, you'll need a sturdy chair with armrests, loose clothing, and shoes that give you good support. Ladies, definitely avoid wearing any built-up or high heels. Now, when we get to the floor work, if you're on a hard surface like we are, you should use a mat or some other form of padding. Take note of the number on your VCR so that in future you can start right at the beginning of the routine itself. Are you ready to exercise? All right, let's go and let's have fun with it. Put your feet about shoulders width apart and your arms in this position. Now begin to alternately reach overhead, starting slowly and gently. Now, as we go along, try to push just a little further up each time. Make sure that you're not holding your breath and don't rush. Pause at the end of each effort. That's it. As we go along, let's put a little variation in the technique. We'll press down with one arm and up with the other. Exactly. Down and up on opposite sides as you lengthen and stretch. Good. Let's do one more on each side. Extend and breathe with it. Reach and down is good. Fantastic. Take a deep breath and exhale thoroughly. Okay, cross your wrists in front of your lower abdomen. We inhale as the arms come up the sides, and then we'll lengthen ourselves at the top briefly. Now exhale as your arms come down the sides, dropping your head and shoulders to complement the motion. Have you got it? Inhale up, stretch, and then blow it out on the way down. Continue. We're warming up the shoulder and upper back muscles as well as the shoulder joints. Each time at the top, try to become just a little more streamlined, like a diver about to break the surface of the water. You're doing fine. Inhale up, pause, blow it out as those arms come down, and we'll do it one more time. And exhale. And that's great. All right, swing your arms gently to the back and then wrap around, tapping the sides of your torso lightly. We're getting a mild stretch on those chest muscles, and we're limbering up the shoulder girdle area we've been working on. That's fine. Okay, move your feet closer together and let your arms hang at your sides. Now let's shrug those shoulders up toward the ears, roll to the back, then drop down and return forward to the starting position. Now when your shoulders come up and move to the back, lift the chest and pull your shoulder blades in toward one another. We're working primarily the trapezius muscles of the upper back, and we're reinforcing good posture. Let's do it one more time. Shrug up toward the earlobes, pull back, that's it, down and forward. Now let's reverse the pattern and let your arms come up with your shoulders, and then use them to help carry everything forward. So it's like this: shoulders back, up, forward in this fashion, and down. Almost like a swimmer doing the butterfly stroke. Get a lot of movement from your shoulder blades as we come up, forward, down, and back. That's great. Put your feet a little outside shoulders width, and we'll begin very slowly doing some trunk twisting. Now the muscles of the shoulder girdle are very relaxed, And please notice that I'm picking up one heel each time so my hips can turn with my upper body. If you want to increase the speed, that's fine. Just make sure you keep your balance and be careful not to strain your lower back. Just keep it nice and loose. As we continue with this fluid motion, we'll put in a variation. The arms go up to either side and cross low in front of the body. Something like a golf swing. You've got it. We want a natural, easy follow through. Breathe steadily, and we'll do a few more repetitions. Finishing high, and that's great. Take a seat right near the front of your chair. Again, we're situated near the front so that we can take a wide stance. Now rest one arm on your thigh like this, and then the other arm reaches up and over to the opposite side. Hold for a few seconds, and then come up and go over to the other side in the same way. This is a modified form of the side bend, which is a great limbering exercise. The reason for resting one arm on the thigh is so that we can support some of the weight of our torso. This makes things easier on the lower back, and it allows us to put the emphasis where it belongs, in the muscles that run down the side of the back. Again, make sure that you're not holding your breath as we continue. It's not necessary to go into an extreme side bend, but I'm sure you'll find as you go along that your range of motion will increase. You're doing great. Let's go one more to each side. Extend that arm and reach. Back to center and over again. And that's great. All right, pull your feet in about 6 inches. And let's slide the palms down the shins slowly, each to our own degree of flexibility and comfort, stopping before it hurts. Let's pause here in the center, and then begin working from one side to the other in this fashion. Both hands go over to one leg, we pause, and then shift. Now make sure that you're dropping your head over each knee, and don't rush. If it's a little too tame for you, you can put your feet wider apart, so you simply have to reach over a little further each time. We're stretching the muscles of the lower and mid back, as well as the inner thighs. Continue, please, making sure to drop your head over each knee. Now we'll go one more in each direction, so it's over, and shift. And then coming back to center, we pause. Now drop your head so the muscles at the back of your neck can relax. Take a slow, deep breath. And then the hands go to the thighs just above the knees, one at a time. We'll use some arm strength to assist the lower back muscles in bringing the torso upright. Will you pull your heels together like this? We'll hook the thumbs, and then without straining, reach straight up. Arch your back just slightly as you push the arms out, down, and good. Now we'll just cross the arms and round the back to balance it off. That's fine. Scoot back in your chair so you can take a full support from the backrest, and we'll begin to limber up the neck. Let's move slowly, tilting the head initially from one side to the other like this. The direction is just as if you could lay your ear down on the shoulder. Now feel those muscles along the side of your neck stretching. You know, all of us carry a lot of muscular tension in the neck, so be sure that you're not overstretching and that you're treating the muscles gently. That's it. No rush as we go. One more to each side. You're doing fine. Over and back to center. Now let's begin to look over either shoulder. This is another basic range of motion. Don't strain, but pause at the outside each time and try to look around just a little further. Let your eyes lead the turn. Again, you'll find that as you go along, your muscles will accommodate the motion. You'll loosen up and you'll get a little more movement. Easy breathing as we go one more in each direction. Ready? Pivot and look. Turn again. Feel the light stretch and return to the center position. All right, one more motion for the neck. We'll tilt the head to the side like we did a moment ago and then roll across the front. Just an easy half circle to a similar position on the opposite side and then back the way you came. Exactly. We want to avoid rolling across the backside because that can be bad for some of the nerves and the vertebra of the neck. Just keep a relaxed, fluid motion through a half circle across the front. Again, don't rush yourself. You're doing fine. Let's go one more in each direction. Very slow, controlled speed. Over and come back to center. We'll bring the head upright, and whenever you're ready, let's stand. Okay, put your feet shoulders width apart, your hands on the waistline. This is the last limbering exercise. We'll work from the waist down. It's hip circles, just moving symmetrically around a vertical axis, just pushing through a smooth circle. That's great. Let's go one more time in this direction. It's side, front, side, back, and reverse. That's it, hips around. If you're having a little trouble with this one, don't worry. With practice, you'll find you can do it very easily. Let's circle those hips one more time. And that's great. Okay, let's move on to the calisthenic phase of the routine. If you'll go behind your chair, we'll line up holding the backrest like this. And our first movement is alternate knee lift. In this case, each knee is lifting to its own side. Don't rush yourself. Notice that I'm pointing my toes down toward the floor. We're working the muscles at the tops of the thighs in the front. Breathe steadily. Now don't worry about the height. When you feel that your muscles are contracted enough, lower the legs slowly. If you want a greater degree of difficulty, you can try turning the thighs further out to their own side. If, on the other hand, you're starting to fatigue, you can decrease the angle and move your thighs closer to the backrest like I'm doing now. All right, now we're starting to warm up a little bit. Let's do 4 more. Ready? 4, 3, down slowly, 2, and 1 is good. Take a moment to shake the legs out and catch your breath. And now we're going to get into it. Alternate side leg lift, the same kind of speed, please. And don't feel that you have to raise your leg up to waist level. You know, higher is not necessarily better. So many times people use momentum in exercises where it's more appropriate to slow down and control the pace of the movement. You're doing great. Now don't forget, if you're getting tired, feel free to stop and shake the legs out. If your hips are starting to burn, to really fatigue, you can always take that rest, and after you catch your breath, resume the movement. All right. With practice, you'll find that you can go straight through the whole routine. Let's count down from 6 and 5, 4, down slowly, 3, breathe, 2, and 1 is good. Now you can really feel that one in your legs when you go slowly. Shake out a little bit, and now we'll do another exercise to limber the area. Alternate knee lift. This time, we're moving to the opposite side. So you swivel your hip, bring your knee up to waist level, perhaps a little higher. And we're using a more rapid tempo. Here we have some momentum working for us, so this movement is a little easier than the first two. Get plenty of oxygen to those working muscles, and make sure that you feel good with it. That's it, nice and smooth. Let's count down from 6. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 is good. Deliberately take a slow, deep breath and then exhale thoroughly. All right, we're going to put our feet several inches outside the width of the shoulders. We're into a pretty wide stance here, as you can see. The knees and feet are angled out about 45 degrees. Very partial squats. This is not a deep knee bend. It's a lot more like some of the pliés that a dancer does in exercise class. As you go along, look at your knees and feet. Now, as the knee bends, it should go out the same direction that the foot under it is pointing. This kind of alignment will really help protect your knee joints. Keep good posture with your shoulders and upper back, and maintain as vertical a position with your spine as you can. You're doing great. Notice that when I come to the top, I'm not quite straightening my legs out. They're just slightly bent. Now, this is called a non-lockout technique, and it allows us to sustain the muscular tension in our thighs. Let's inhale on the way down, blow out as you press to the top. As we get toward the end here, let's slow it down a little more. If you feel you can comfortably work deeper, that's fine. From 5, are you ready? 5, inhale down. 4, 3, 2, breathe with it. 1, and then come down again and hold position. Now breathe steadily. Just a little bit longer, hang in there, and let's press out smoothly, and certainly take a moment to shake the legs out. All right, let's bend forward at the waist. Place the palms in the middle of the armrests. And now we're going to go with a movement that's great for the lower back and the gluteus or buttocks muscles. Alternate back leg lift. Again, don't whip the leg up there, but instead rely on control. Now, you shouldn't raise the leg above the level of your spine. Easy breathing. You're doing fine. Don't rush yourself. Occasionally, pause at the top. Not so high that you're straining or shaking, but sufficiently high to target the muscles you're working with. That's it. You know, it's not enough just to stretch the lower back, although that's part of the program. It's also very important to do the kind of exercise that allows you to strengthen the muscles, but to do it in such a way that you're not going to injure the area. So be easy, be gentle on yourself, but let's keep going. That's it, not raising the leg above the base of your spine. 6 more. Are you ready? 6. And down slowly. See that split second pause at the top? 5. 4. 3. You're looking good. 2. And down slowly. 1. And we'll bend the knees, stand up, and once again come around the front. Now take a seat right near the front of the chair. And having worked these very crucial muscles in the lower back, we're going to stretch them out. Your feet are just wide enough that your rib cage can pass between the thighs. As we slide our palms down the shins, just drop your head and relax into it. Don't overstretch. Fill and empty your lungs completely. And once again, if you'll place your palms on the thighs just above the knees, we use some arm strength to help bring the torso upright. And then lace your fingers together like this. Now, palms away from the body. And without straining, bring your arms overhead as much as you can within reason. Arch your back slightly as you release the fingers. Again, out, down, and good. Now, cross your arms and grasping either shoulder like this, let's round the back. Drop your head as you pull gently on those shoulders, stretch, and let's sit upright. Okay, we've done quite a bit of work for the lower body. Let's scoot back in the chair some. Place place our palms in the middle of the armrests, and we'll take on an exercise that works the tricep muscles at the back and the inside of your upper arms. Very simply, press up as if you're rising to greet somebody, and then lower slowly. That's all there is to it. Now, the legs are not really involved in this one, unless you need just a little bit of assistance from them. It should be only enough to help the arms through the difficult part of the motion, but if you can do it with arm strength alone, that's best. Don't feel that you have to work straight through the time allotted for this exercise. If you're starting to fatigue or it's uncomfortable, just stop, limber the muscles up like this, catch your breath, shake out the wrists, and then resume the movement. Now, with practice, you will be able to go straight through this entire segment. As we press up and lower down, you're doing great. The triceps are an area of concern for many people. They feel that they're losing size and muscle tone. Well, this is a great exercise for the body part, and the nice thing about it is that it doesn't put any strain on your lower back, unlike conventional push-ups. Your spine should be allowed to hang vertically as you press up and lower down. Are you feeling it? Good. Let's do 3 more. 3. Breathe with it. 2. And we're going to hold it at the top on 1, like a gymnast holding the parallel bars, and lowering slowly. Let's again limber the area up, and whenever you're ready, will you stand and go around behind the chair once again. Now we'll turn one shoulder to the backrest, and we'll work with the leg that's closest to the chair. The inside leg will swing to the front and then to the back. The weight of the leg seems almost to carry itself, and the emphasis is on the lift to the front. Don't strain. Bend your knee the higher the leg goes. And with the outside arm, you can reach across and touch the thigh when the leg swings to the front. And then, of course, when it swings to the back, the arm swings out to the side and to the back. So we have them working in tandem. Get plenty of oxygen to those working muscles. You'll find the range of motion increases. Let's go 5 more. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, breathe with it, and 1 is good. Certainly take a moment to shake the legs out. As you turn your other shoulder to the backrest, we'll go with the second leg, which should now be the one that's closest to the chair. And we'll start very easy and gradually build the swing. There's more emphasis on the lift to the front than there is on the swing to the back. And you're doing great. Now, if you want to work slower or faster than I am, no problem. Maintain the pace that feels good to you personally. Regulate your breathing. If everything else is easy, keep good posture in your torso with the chest up just a little bit. And continue. You're looking good. Let's again count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 is good. Great. Take a slow, deep breath. And blowing it out, we'll step back from the chair a pace or 2. And this next exercise is typical of the low-impact emphasis that's becoming the focus for the newer, safer aerobic dance styles. We'll step to the side, the other foot slides to join it, and our arms are moving a lot like they did in that trunk twisting variation that we had in the warm-up. Now, if you find that it's a little easy for you, simply step wider and stay lower. Maintain good balance and breathing control as we go along. That's it. You're doing fine. Now, the next exercise will incorporate the same stepping motion with the legs, but the arms are going to do something different. Are you ready? The arms press up and then come down. Just imagine that you're holding a beach ball, you're pressing it overhead, and then bringing it down to chest level. Now Now, this exercise is more taxing on your shoulder muscles. It starts to become a little too much. Go back to swinging the arms like we were a moment ago. Again, use your breathing as we count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 is good. And finally, some very low impact running in place. Notice that I'm not pounding with my feet. I'm just shifting weight from one leg to the other. Try to keep your arms moving. Now, if you want to move around the immediate area, do a dance step or something more demanding, that's fine. Perfectly appropriate. Just try to keep your body in motion. Occasionally inhale through your nostrils and take thorough exhalations. Looking real good. Almost finished. Try to keep going. From 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that's excellent. Take a moment, of course, to shake the legs out, and again, a slow, deep breath. And we'll put the feet to shoulders width apart, the arms out in front. Let's squeeze and open the hands. Now, this is an exercise that's very, very easy in the beginning, but I'm sure you'll find as you go along that the muscles in your forearms, wrists, and hands get more than adequately fatigued. A nice firm squeeze, followed by a full extension of the fingers. If you've got long fingernails, don't squeeze too hard. That's it. Let's turn the palms up toward the ceiling as we continue. It'll become increasingly difficult to get the full extension of the fingers, but strive not only to straighten the fingers out, but to spread them apart, even if it means that you have to slow your pace. Now we're getting that increased blood flow to these extremities, and that's always good. Move your arms out to the sides. Now, if this causes pain in either shoulder, feel free to carry your arms lower and have them bent. By now you should be starting to feel it. Remember, full squeeze and complete extension of the fingers. All right, turn your knuckles up toward the ceiling. Breathe your way through the slight discomfort. You're looking real good. If you have to stop and shake them out, why, feel free to do so. Arms overhead. Now it's really starting to count. If this causes pain in your shoulders or upper back, well, you can carry your arms down by your sides, but try to keep going. And we're going to finish out in front, no longer concerned with straightening the fingers all the way out. It's just a half motion, but go quickly. Go, 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 and shake it out. All right. Now we're going to do something to balance that gripping exercise. We'll stretch the area in this fashion. Place one hand on the fingertip area of the hand that you're stretching and firmly but gently press that hand back. Not too much, but just enough to feel the stretch on the underside of the forearm, the underside of the wrist, and even in the palm of your hand. Take a couple of breaths and release slowly. Great. Let's manipulate the other hand in the same way. The assisting hand goes a little higher than the hand we're working with. Bend it back just enough, but not too much. Suppleness and flexibility of the muscles and joints comes at the price of consistent and regulated stretching postures. And let's release slowly. Now we're going to bend the first hand under on itself. The assisting hand goes on the back of the hand we're working with. Bend it under just enough to feel those tissues across the top of your wrist getting an adequate stretch. Stay with it. Inhale through your nostrils. Exhale through pursed lips. And let's release. And now the other hand. It shouldn't be painful as you bend it under. Just perhaps the slight discomfort of taking the wrist a little beyond its normal range. As you press and breathe, and let's release slowly. Great. We'll do some figure eights with the wrists and the hands just to limber the area up, and a final shakeout is good. Okay, let's go to the calves and the lower legs. If you'll hold the backrest firmly, the feet are a few inches apart and pointed straight ahead. Come up on the balls of the feet and then rock back on the heels, lifting your toes up. That's all there is to it. Now we're working not only the calf muscles, but the feet and the ankles as well. There's an increased blood flow to these lower extremities, which enhances the veins and arteries. And every time that you lift your toes up toward the shins, you're working muscles at the front of your lower legs. Try not to bend your knees much, if at all. Avoid momentum and keep any sway in the hips to a minimum. That's it. Now this is another one of those exercises that requires a high number of repetitions to be effective. Keep going. We'll do a few more with the feet pointed straight ahead. That's it. Contain the action to the feet and the ankles. 2 and 1. And now you take a moment to point the feet away from one another. And this turned out position works a slightly different aspect of your calves as we continue with the same exercise. By now you should be starting to feel it. Good control as you come up and pause momentarily, then rocking back on your heels, lift your toes up toward the shins. Let's count down from 5, 4, 3, make it count, 2, and 1, and finally, point the feet straight ahead again. We'll eliminate rocking back, but double the speed. That's it. Still, you want to get a decent lift and tap your heels on the floor each time. With practice, you'll find you can endure more and more of this technique, but feel free to rest if necessary. Now, whenever your calves let you know they're sufficiently tired, like mine do already, stop and shake them out. Now we're going to perform several stretches, and for the first one, let's leave our chairs and go to an open wall space. Now this is a basic posture that you see a lot of runners doing. It looks as if we're trying to push the wall down, but in fact we're pushing down through the heel of the foot that's in back. There's very little weight on your forward leg. Both feet should be pointed straight toward the wall. Take a slow, deep breath. If you can't feel the calf muscle of your back leg getting stretched, move the front foot a little closer to the wall, but keep the heel of the back foot down. You're doing fine. Be patient and let your breathing be the key. And great. All right, let's exchange leg positions. Put the other foot back. Keep the heel of the back foot on or near the floor, and once you have a good stretch, hold position. Now, there's a real art to the technique of holding still once you have the proper posture. Most people do violent bouncing or ballistic stretching. This is not only unproductive, it can be harmful. And many young athletes can get away with it, but in the long run, held positions are better. This is called static stretching, and it's the most effective way to increase your flexibility. Stay with it. Take a slow, deep breath as you press and stretch, and that's great. All right, let's stand up. Take a moment to shake the legs out, and now we'll move back to the chairs. All right, please rotate the chair so the backrest is toward me and you've got the seat of the chair toward yourself. And now we're going to go with a stretch for the lower back and the hamstring muscles at the backs of our thighs. If you'll put your feet close together and about 10 inches back from the chair, we'll bend forward slowly at the waist and place our palms in the middle of the armrests. Keep your knees slightly bent unless you're already very experienced with this stretch and choose to keep the legs straight. This is the same stretch where you've often seen people strain to touch their toes or to touch the floor. But we'll bypass that temptation, and using the chair for support, We'll stop our forward bend when we individually perceive an adequate pull on the hamstring and low back muscles. We don't want any shaking or real pain, just the sensation of taking the muscles a little bit beyond their everyday range of motion. Stop before it hurts and then patiently hold position. Some of you may find you're more comfortable putting the palms on the seat of the chair. Use slower, deeper breathing patterns. And remember that this kind of stretching is all about finding that point that's neither too little nor too much, and then sustaining the posture. Drop your head, and remember that the rewards of this type of flexibility training come in the form of greater freedom of movement and in being less prone to injury. If you feel you can work a little deeper, I have to leave that up to you. Let's count down from 10, 9, 8, 7, stay with it, 5, 4, 3, 2, and in order to work out of it in the safest way possible, will you bend your knees and use thigh strength to bring your torso upright? That's good. Now, pull your shoulders back without straining, and great. We'll take a fairly wide stance at this point, up to about twice the width of your shoulders. Knees and feet are angled out about 45 degrees. If you want to use the armrest for a little support, again, make sure that you're not putting more weight on one arm than the other. Before we work into the straddle or split stretch, we'll move from one side to the other a few times like this. Now, as your knee bends, it should go out the same direction that the foot under it is pointing. As we shift from side to side. Now, you'll find that this stretches the inner thigh muscle group of the leg that's straight each time. This is called alternate inner thigh stretch. If you feel that you can work a little deeper, that's fine. If not, just stay at the level you're comfortable with. You'll find that your muscles will loosen up as you go along, and over time, you'll not only be able to go deeper, but you'll be able to tolerate a slightly wider foot placement. This is good. Let's go one more in each direction. Don't rush. Nice breathing. One more time over, stretch, and then leave the feet where they are, but bring your hips back to center. Now both legs are straight, and you'll find that you can work your feet a little bit wider apart. Go ahead and move them out. Now the same guidelines apply. We don't want to be into the zone where it's painful or really uncomfortable. If you like, place your palms on the seat of the chair. Use slower, deeper breathing. Patiently hold position. This type of stretching takes a rare combination of being mentally passive and patient, but at the same time very tough and determined. You're doing great. Now, if you feel that you can work your feet a little wider apart, again, that has to be self-determined. If you're really uncomfortable, don't hesitate to bring your feet closer together. Okay, this is when it starts to count. Stay with it. Try inhaling through your nostrils and then exhaling thoroughly through pursed lips. And let your breathing help you work through the minor discomfort that comes from taking your muscles a little bit beyond their everyday range of motion. Stay with it. Just a little bit longer. Now, in order to work out of it, let's bend one knee and then the other, and using the chair for support, press up. Take a moment to shake the legs out. Now we're going to move to the floor work. So we'll move the chairs aside, and if you're on a hard surface like we are, you should use a mat or some other form of padding. All right, let's get ourselves down on the mat carefully, and we'll lay flat on our backs with the knees bent and our feet planted flat. To begin with, bring your knees up toward the chest. Take one in each hand and firmly but gently pull your thighs a little closer to the rib cage. Don't overdo it, but sustain that pull. And now let's just lower the legs a few inches until our tailbone is in contact with the mat. Hold the knees from on top like this. Without going too far in either direction, roll side to side across that sacrum or low back area. giving yourself a massage. Doesn't that feel good? Let's do a few more in each direction, slow and easy. And we'll bring the knees back to center, and the feet are planted flat once again. All right, place your palms on the thighs, and we're going to do a very, very partial sit-up. Don't even try to sit all the way up. We slide the palms up the thighs, clear the head and shoulder blades off the mat, pause briefly, and roll down in control. Now, it's not designed to let you sit all the way up. Exhale, and then inhale on the way down. Try to keep your chin from coming to your chest. You want to have the face pointed up toward the ceiling. Again, exhale as you roll up, inhale on the way down, and if any of you should find that this is causing too much strain in the muscles at the front of your neck, why, feel free to put the hands behind the head, but if you're using that technique, don't pull on the head. Keep your elbows back and just use the hands and arms for support. It's a very partial motion. Head and shoulder blades clear the mat. Now we're working the top 2 rows of abdominal muscles in a way that protects our lower back. Let's do 3 more. Are you ready? 3, 2. This last one, we'll pause at the top. Up, hold, and down slowly. That's excellent. All right, let's all of us lace the fingers together, put the hands behind the head. Now, the left knee comes up by itself, and the right elbow moves toward it. Doesn't have to touch, everything back down. That's it. Now it's right knee up, left elbow moves toward it, and so on. Main idea is to get one leg off the ground and the shoulder blade from the opposite side. Continue. If you find that it's easy to touch the elbow and the knee, well, you can take the elbow to the outside of the knee, get more contraction and more twist. The main idea is to feel the work on the muscles of the abdominal wall. Now, don't rush yourself. Use a slow to medium speed, good breathing, and concentration. If you find that you have to stop and take a rest for a moment, that's fine. But as soon as you catch your breath, resume the exercise. Now, the better tone that your abdominal muscles are in, the easier the job of the lower back is. It's just like having a natural girdle when you do exercises for the abdominal wall as well as the lower back, which we've certainly done in this routine. Let's go one more on each side. That's 1, 2, and excellent. All right. Place your palms flat on the mat and slip them under the buttocks each side, right by the hips. And we'll go with double knee lift. Both knees up toward the chest and feet down to the starting position. This is another exercise for your stomach muscles, but now we're emphasizing the lower abdomen. The breathing pattern would be to exhale as the knees come up, inhale on the way down. You're doing great. Just keep going. The reason for having the hands palms down and partially under is so that we can keep any arch from occurring in your lower back. It's just like having a natural shelf. Now is when it starts to count. Let's do 5 more. Here we go. 5, 4, you're looking good. 3, 2, and 1, and down slowly. All right, slide your legs out straight one at a time, and then your arms go behind you, and without straining, stretch your body lengthwise, almost as if people were on either end of you pulling you out. Stretch And that's great. Bring your arms down by your sides again, palms up toward the ceiling, and in a very relaxed fashion, roll across the back of your head from side to side, limbering up those neck muscles. All right, bring the head back to centered position, and with your eyes closed, take a minute to completely relax. Start from your toes and release muscular tension up your body, calves, thighs, hips, and so on. I'll be quiet as we continue the slow, deep breathing and just sink into the mat. While it may seem overly cautious, I'd like you to stand up in a particular way. If you'll roll over on one side like this, we'll then come smoothly to hands and knees. Take your time. All right, we'll bring one foot out in front, plant it flat, the torso comes upright. Place both palms on that thigh, and then using a combination of arm and leg strength, let's stand up smoothly. All right, take a moment to shake the legs out. Now, I recommend that you do this routine 3 to 4 times a week, and you certainly might want to supplement it with some vigorous walking, cycling, or swimming. I've really enjoyed working with you through this video, and I hope that you've had a good workout. I'll see you next time.